Minecraft is a game of patterns. Chop a tree, gather stone, dig down. There's a rhythm to it, a calm, predictable loop. It's part of what makes it so relaxing. But sometimes, if you stay in that rhythm too long, you start to notice when something feels off, when the world doesn't quite follow the rules. Some players say they've seen things deep underground, not just caves or mine shafts, but places that aren't supposed to exist. Places beneath bedrock. Some call it a bug, others call it a myth. But the stories, they all sound the same. It always starts with a hole that goes too deep. Kieran was a long-time player. He liked building cozy cabins and automated farms, but his favourite part of the game was mining. Not strip mining, not branch mining, just digging straight down for the thrill of it. He knew it was dangerous. Everyone joked about it. But he'd done it for years without a single death. One night, he booted up his single-player survival world after a long day. Just wanted to unwind, maybe gather some diamonds before bed. He dug down, counting blocks out of habit, torch in hand. Stone turned to deep slate, and then came the familiar sight of bedrock. But this time, something was different. There was a single gap in the bedrock, 1 block wide, not a cave, not a glitch, just a hole, pure black, like the void, no falling particles, no sound, just silence. Kieran didn't believe it. He thought maybe it was a rendering bug. He threw a torch into the hole. It didn't fall. It just vanished. Curiosity got the better of him. He placed water, grabbed a bucket, and slowly descended into the hole using a stream. The light from his helmet mod barely pierced the darkness. He went lower than bedrock should have allowed. And then the fog appeared. Thick, pale grey. Not like the fog in swamps or on mountains. This fog moved. It curled around his body in-game, almost like it was watching. He tried placing torches, glowstone, anything. Iaka saying anything. The light dimmed within seconds. Then he heard it. Footsteps. But he was alone. Single-player world. No mobs nearby. Just the crunch of boots on gravel echoing below him. Getting closer. He tried to climb back up the water stream, but it was gone. Replaced by nothing. Emptiness. The screen glitched. His inventory flickered. Items blinked out one by one. First his tools, then his armor. Finally the fog covered the screen entirely. And then the game crashed. When he reopened the world, it was gone. Deleted. Some say it was a mod conflict. Others think Kieran lied. But that world, it never came back. And ever since, other players have started finding tiny holes in the bedrock. No one digs down anymore. The village that builds itself. Most villages in Minecraft are peaceful. You stumble upon them, maybe trade with the locals, maybe steal a bed. The villagers go about their routines, working, sleeping, panicking when night falls. It's predictable. Safe. But there's one village that players talk about only in whispers. A place that isn't on any seed database. A village that doesn't just exist, it builds itself. It was first discovered by a streamer named Juno. She wasn't big, maybe a few hundred followers, but she had a solid routine. Find obscure seeds, explore, catalogue odd terrain. She liked weird generation bugs, found floating islands, glitched desert temples, even once an upside-down ocean monument. But nothing compared to the seed she entered one random Tuesday night. The world loaded normally. Plains biome, trees, nothing strange at first, but within minutes of exploring she noticed it, out in the fog, shapes, wooden beams, stone blocks. At first, she thought it was a ruined village. Then she saw it. A house was building itself. Block by block, no player input, cobblestone forming the walls, glass panes sliding into place like puzzle pieces. happened slowly, like time lapse in reverse, and there were no villagers, not one. Juno was creeped out but fascinated. She recorded everything, walked closer. As she got near the first completed house, her screen stuttered, her frames dropped. Not lag, judder, like the world itself was resisting. She ignored it, went inside. Empty. Not just of villagers, of everything. No beds, no tables, no torches. Just the shell of a house, too clean, too new. Then she heard the placing sound from upstairs. She climbed, slowly, sword ready, no one was there, but a block of wood placed itself into the wall right in front of her. She checked chat, nothing, commands off. Single player. Then the village bell rang. It wasn't night, no raid, no mobs, just the bell, on its own. And in that moment, her render distance seemed to flicker, because beyond the house she'd entered, dozens more were forming, all at once. Whole chunks of village springing into existence. She ran, back the way she came, but the path was gone, replaced by more houses, rows of them, perfectly aligned, all identical. She tried to quit the game, escape, but the button was greyed out. And then a message flashed across the screen, briefly like a corrupted death message. You have been selected. The screen cut to black. She ended the stream, deleted the VOD, said it was a prank, a glitch, but her viewers remember. They clipped it. They've seen the building, the way the houses moved in, the way the game locked her in place. No one's ever found that seed again. Even if you enter the exact numbers, it spawns you in a different biome every time. But sometimes, late at night, you'll hear the village bell in your world, even when there's no village around. And if you do, don't look behind you. The player in the walls. If you've played Minecraft long enough, you've probably experienced that weird feeling, like you're being watched. You turn around, expecting a creeper, a skeleton, something, but nothing's there. Sometimes it's just your mind playing tricks on you. Sometimes it's not. This story comes from a player named Milo. He was deep into a long-term survival world, nearing his 800th in-game day. Hardcore mode. He'd built a massive base inside a mountain. Multi-level, redstone farms, reinforced tunnels. It was his proudest build. The kind of world you're scared to lose. But then he started hearing things. At first it was faint. Footsteps behind stone walls. Doors opening and closing, far away from where he was. It didn't make sense. He lived alone, no villagers nearby, no pets, no mobs. He kept his area perfectly lit. Then the signs started appearing, literally signs. Wooden ones placed in odd corners of his base. He'd find them stuck behind furnaces, tucked into dark corners of hallways. The text always said the same thing, "Let me out." He thought it was a bug, maybe corruption, maybe he hit F3+B by accident and missed something. So he made backups, ran commands to scan for entities. Nothing, but the signs kept coming. One day he was walking through his storage room and saw a flicker, a shadow clipping through the stone wall. Not a mob, not a texture glitch. It looked like a player, for just a second. A pale face, black eyes, gone in a blink. He tried breaking the wall, solid stone. He ran commands again, still nothing. But then, that night, he heard footsteps again, this time following him. Room to room, block for block. And when he looked behind him, he saw his own skin standing in the hallway. Not a reflection, not a statue, a copy. It moved when he didn't. Twitched unnaturally, tilted its head like it was studying him. Then it turned and walked into the wall. Phased right through it. He sealed off that hallway, poured lava into it, blocked it behind obsidian. But the signs kept showing up. Let me out. Finally Milo did something desperate. He deleted his player data, reset his spawn, purged his inventory, clean slate. But when he logged in, he spawned inside a wall, buried in stone, not suffocating, just stuck, no way out. And right in front of him was a sign. Trade places. The game crashed. The next time he loaded the world, his base was gone, replaced by a flat plain of bedrock, no structures, no mobs, just a single sign where his storage room used to be. Thank you. No one knows what he let out. But some players say they've found random signs in their own worlds, even if they never placed them. Messages that make no sense until they do. And if you ever hear footsteps inside your base walls when no one else is online, don't try to find the source. It might already be you. The chunk that wouldn't save Minecraft autosaves all the time. It's seamless, invisible. You build a house, mine some more, fight off a skeleton, log out, come back, and it's all there, like you never left. But sometimes the game forgets. Or maybe it remembers something else. This story comes from a player named Nico. He wasn't doing anything special, just playing on a chill survival world after work. He'd been building a watchtower on top of a hill near spawn. Nothing fancy, just stone, some spruce logs, lanterns. Every day he'd add a little more. He always logged out in the same spot, just outside the tower's base facing the sunrise. And every time he logged back in, something felt wrong. Not major at first, just little things. One lantern missing, a window that was once glass, now cobblestone, a chest that was empty, even though he swore he'd filled it. He chalked it up to tiredness, misclicks, maybe even a mod glitch. Till one night he added a roof to the tower, built a lightning rod, planted some flowers out front, then saved, exited, and went to bed. The next day he logged in, and the roof was gone. The tower had reverted to how it looked 3 days earlier, but only the tower. His inventory still had the materials from the previous night. The flowers were still in his hotbar, but the world had rolled back, like that part of the chunk had never been touched. He checked his backups, same problem. He tried rebuilding everything from scratch again. This time, he built signs into the structure, left notes, the date, time, the phrase testing save. Then he saved, logged out, waited 10 minutes. When he logged back in, the signs were gone, but something else was there. A new door, tucked behind the tower, in the hill itself, not player made. It hadn't been there before. Spruce like the rest of the build, but slightly darker in colour, like it had aged. Nico didn't build it, but he opened it. Behind the door was a narrow hallway, 1 block wide, pitch black, too dark for torches. His screen flickered every time he moved forward. The deeper he went, the quieter the game became. Ambient cave sounds died out, even his footsteps muted. Then he saw it, a copy of his tower, but twisted, incomplete, floating in the void like a half-loaded dream. The signs were there, but they didn't say testing save anymore. They said you shouldn't be here. You weren't saved. This is the original. He tried to turn back, but the hallway was gone. He exited the game manually, sweating. When he returned to the world, the hill was flat, the tower erased, and in its place, a single chest with a single written book inside, no title, no author, just 1 page. You only exist because I stopped. To this day, he doesn't know what that meant, but he doesn't build towers anymore, especially not near spawn. And he never assumes the game is saving, even when it says it is. The server with no owner. Public servers come and go. One day they're booming with players, and the next they vanish, shut down, abandoned, forgotten. But there's one server that doesn't follow that pattern, because no one knows who runs it. It's called the Back Hollow. That's the name it shows in the multiplayer menu. It appears randomly, only sometimes, between your usual servers. No IP address, no player count, no description, just the Back Hollow. Join us. Most players scroll past it, assume it's a bug, but every now and then someone clicks. One of those players was Eva. She wasn't a noob. Been playing for years, ran a realm with friends, coded her own plugins. She knew the back end of Minecraft inside and out. So when the server popped up in her list one day, she was curious. Thought it might be a rogue mod or leftover dev server from a project. So she joined. It was nighttime in-game with heavy fog. No spawn area, no welcome message. Just a forest, twisted oak trees, blackened leaves, vines that didn't sway. She typed /list. One player online, Caretaker. She typed hello. No response. She explored a bit. The world felt off. The lighting was wrong, too dim even with brightness on max. There were no mobs, no animals, no music, just the sound of her footsteps and an ambient wind that didn't quite match any biome. Then she saw a house in the woods, small, primitive, wooden walls and a stone roof, barely lit by a single lantern inside. The door was open. Inside was a crafting table, a bed and a single chest. She opened it. Empty. But as soon as she turned around she saw it. A name tag. Just outside the window. Hovering, unmoving, Caretaker. She backed away from the chest, looked out the window, no one there. Then the chat lit up. Caretaker, do you like your new home? She typed back, who are you? No reply. She left the house and tried to log out. Didn't work. The escape menu wouldn't open. She tried disconnecting, force quitting, nothing. Her keyboard still worked, but the game wouldn't let her leave. The trees began to shift. Blocks reformed around her. The world started pulling in. Fences grew where there had been none. The forest seemed to close behind her as she ran. When she tried digging, the blocks reset themselves instantly. She typed again. Let me go. The chat box opened on its own. Caretaker, you joined. Now you stay. That's when she noticed her skin was changing. Bit by bit. Her hand, now visible in third person, had gone pale. Eyes black. Just like the figure she saw outside the window, she closed her laptop, disconnected the internet. When she restarted Minecraft, the Back Hollow was gone from the server list, but a new skin appeared in her launcher. Not one she made, not one she could delete. It was hers, pale, black-eyed, watching her from the selection screen. The seed that loops. Every Minecraft world starts with a seed, a string of numbers that determines everything. Terrain, structures, caves, oceans. Most players never think twice about them, but some seeds are cursed. Some don't want to let go. This story is about a player named Ty. Ty was experimenting with old Minecraft versions. Beta 1.7.3 to be exact. He liked the charm of the old terrain generation. Nostalgic mountains. Weird floating islands. Surface lava pits. No hunger bar, just pure survival. He found an old seed posted on a forgotten forum. 6666. Weird choice, he thought, but maybe it was a joke. He copied it into the world creator, spawned on a beach. Nothing strange at first. He explored for a few hours, built a little wooden house on the edge of a cliff, crafted some tools, killed a few pigs. Night fell and he stayed inside, listening to the soft sound of waves below. That's when he noticed something. His character was starving. Except Beta didn't have hunger. He paused, opened the inventory. No status effects. Health was full, but his screen was shaking slightly, like it does when you're starving in modern versions. Maybe a bug? He quit to menu. Then the title screen glitched. Instead of Minecraft Beta 1.7.3, it said, version. He tried reloading the world, spawned in the same spot on the beach. His house, gone. Everything reset. As if he'd never played, he assumed he'd hit create new world by accident. Frustrated, he rebuilt the house. Same spot, same layout, same chest. But that night, he noticed something else. The pigs he had killed the first time, they were there again, in the exact same spot, moving the exact same way. He tested it, waited a few seconds before approaching the next pig, watched it turn. Same movement, same moment, the world was looping. He tried breaking things, marking landmarks, leaving signs. Each time he logged out and back in, everything reset, except his memory and his inventory. That was the worst part. Every time he respawned, he kept his items, but the world didn't. Trees he chopped reappeared, chests he emptied were full again, but his hand still held the same axe, same stake, same block of obsidian he hadn't mined yet, until one login, when the sky was blood red, not sunset, all the time. The water turned black. The pigs didn't move anymore. They stared, and the signs he had placed had changed. Instead of test or loop, they now said, "You never left. You were always here." He deleted the world, deleted the version, deleted the entire Minecraft folder. When he reinstalled and opened the launcher, the world was still there. No name, no seed, just a date, the same one he first spawned in. The more he deletes it, the more it returns, and every time he opens it now, the red sky comes a little sooner. The entity in spectator mode. Everyone knows spectator mode is safe. You can fly through blocks, explore caves, watch mobs, all without risk. You're invisible, untouchable, just a ghost observing the world. But what happens if something sees you back? This happened to a builder named Ronan. He ran a massive creative server, world edit tools, custom terrain, whole cities crafted by hand. His favourite way to relax was entering spectator mode and flying through unfinished projects, soaking in the view. One night he was checking on a mountain range that another builder had been working on. Huge cliffs, deep valleys, intricate cave systems. He dove beneath the surface, admiring the natural generation. No mobs were enabled, strictly creative, strictly clean. Then he saw it. At first it looked like a name tag, floating deep underground, below even the bedrock level. No one else was online, but the tag read, "Observer." He thought it was a glitch, maybe a leftover marker from a plugin. He flew toward it. It moved, not in a straight line, away from him, fast, into a wall, through solid stone. He chased it, dipping through rock and void, the game stuttering slightly. The name tag stayed just ahead, slipping around corners like it knew he was following. Then it vanished. He stopped, waited, nothing. Until a chat message popped up, one he didn't type. "Observer. Stop watching." He checked the server logs. No one else was connected. He teleported to 0, safe zone. But when he tried to switch back to creative mode, it didn't work. The game still said he was in spectator, but his screen looked normal again. Inventory visible. No flying. He was stuck in between. He tried forcing the mode with commands. /game mode creative, game mode spectator. Nothing changed. Then his camera began drifting. He wasn't touching his mouse. It slowly rotated, panning downward toward the stone beneath his feet. His screen dipped into the blocks without him pressing anything, slowly at first, then faster, like he was being pulled through the world. He passed through the underground layers, the caves, the lava pools, until he reached bedrock, and kept going. Deeper than he should have been able to go. Everything went black. Then he saw the figure, not a name tag this time. A humanoid shape hovering in the void, barely textured, like a skin made of static. Its head twitched violently, like frames skipping. It stared at him, though it had no eyes. Then his game froze. When he rebooted the server, the entire world file was corrupted. Wouldn't load, wouldn't repair. But there was a new folder in his saves directory. Watcher inside. One file. A screenshot of his player's face in full spectator mode transparency, and behind him, barely visible, a second face, grinning. The librarian who doesn't trade. Villager trading is simple. You find a librarian, you level him up, you get books, sometimes even rare enchantments if you're lucky. They follow a clear routine. Work at the lectern, sleep, panic when a zombie shows up. But in this story, one librarian broke the rules, and he wanted something you couldn't give. This tale came from a player named Lyra, who stumbled upon a village tucked between a taiga forest and a snowy mountain. It wasn't marked on any seed map she'd seen, and the buildings were oddly spaced, almost maze-like. The paths wound between jagged trees, and no two houses were the same size. She noticed something else too. Every villager was a librarian, dozens of them, all wearing the same white robes, all walking in silent, perfect formation. No farmers, no butchers, no golems, just librarians. It was unnerving, but also intriguing. Lyra loved collecting enchanted books, so she started checking their trades. Mending? No. Unbreaking? Nope. Every librarian offered the same book. No title, no enchantment, just a book with a plain name. Read me. She bought one expecting a written book, maybe an Easter egg from the devs of a mod pack. But when she opened it, it was blank. Every page. She tossed it, but when she turned around, there was a new villager standing directly behind her. Closer than the others, no name, just staring, holding a book out toward her. She backed away. The book floated from his hands into her inventory, no pickup sound. Just appeared, same title. Read me, same blank pages. She tried to leave the village, but the fog started rolling in, thick and white, matching the villagers' robes. Her render distance tanked. Even maxed out, she couldn't see more than 5 blocks ahead. No matter where she ran, she ended up back at the same central structure. A long library building with no windows, just rows and rows of bookshelves and a lectern at the far end. There the head librarian stood. He looked like the others. Same robe, same face, but his eyes were red. She walked up to the lectern. There was a book waiting for her. She opened it. This time there was text. Page 1. You must finish the story. Page 2. You started it, now write the rest. The rest of the pages filled in on their own, one after the other, in real time. Her screen flickered with each word. She tries to leave, but the fog closes in. She cannot escape. She slammed her ESC key. Nothing happened. The villagers began to surround the building, rows and rows of them, standing in perfect silence, watching. When she finally forced the game to close, her desktop was pitch black. No icons, no taskbar, just a single file. Read me. Text inside? The same story, ending with, the librarian waits behind you now. The mirror world. Minecraft worlds are infinite, or at least they feel that way. You can walk for thousands of blocks and never see the same thing twice. But sometimes, the further you go, the more you start seeing reflections. This story is about a player named Cam. He was exploring a fresh survival seed. No mods, no shaders, just vanilla. After a few days of casual play, he set a goal. Walk 10,000 blocks in a straight line. No boats, no portals, just pure walking. He started at spawn, heading east, dropping cobblestone markers behind him every 100 blocks. He passed through forests, oceans, deserts, all standard terrain. It was peaceful. He made a base every 2,000 blocks, just to break the monotony, but around the 7,000 block mark, things got strange. It started when he passed a small cave entrance and swore he'd seen it before. He chalked it up to Minecraft's repetitive terrain. Caves tend to look alike. Then he saw a tree. It was a birch tree, bent diagonally by a lightning strike. Strange enough because lightning rarely hits trees that way, but Cam recognised it. He'd seen that exact same tree back at the 3,000 block mark. He stopped, opened his screenshots folder. Sure enough, there it was. Same coordinates pattern, same terrain, same slanted birch tree, but he'd walked in a straight line. He checked his markers. Still pointing east. Still spaced every 100 blocks. No loop, no teleportation, but the world ahead of him was starting to look more and more familiar. By 8,000 blocks, he saw a structure. His own structure. An outpost he'd built at 2,000 blocks. A little cobble tower with a crafting table on top and a single chest inside. He opened the chest. Same items. Same note he'd left for himself. Checkpoint 2, he checked coordinates. He was nowhere near 2,000. But the landscape, identical. Not copied. Reflected. It got worse. By 9,000 blocks, mobs began spawning with his name. Not zombies, not skeletons. Steves, dressed like him, holding iron swords. One even had a dog, exactly like the one he lost hours earlier. They didn't attack. They just watched. At night, he could hear footsteps behind him, but when he turned around, nothing. Till one night, he built a quick shelter and looked out the window. He saw himself, standing outside, not an NPC, not another player. Him, same armor, same face, staring through the window, not moving. He didn't log out. He destroyed the shelter, sprinted until morning. When he hit 10,000 blocks, he stopped, built a new base, left a sign. I made it. He turned around, and the landscape behind him was blank. No markers, no terrain, just void, like the world behind him had deleted itself. And when he checked his coordinates, they read X 10,000. He never walked west. The sound that shouldn't exist. There are a lot of ambient sounds in Minecraft, cave wind, distant water, the echo of footsteps in a mine. You get used to them. They become background noise barely noticed. But what if you heard something that the game wasn't supposed to play? This is what happened to a player named Jules. She had just started a new cave update world, loved spelunking. Her goal was simple: explore and fully light up a massive dripstone cave system she'd found beneath a savanna plateau. Everything was normal at first: glowberries, the occasional skeleton, plenty of copper and iron. It was peaceful in a way that only Minecraft can be. She placed torches carefully, section by section, claiming the darkness like a slow conquest. Then about 300 blocks deep, she heard it. A whisper, not a mob, not an ambient cave sound. A whisper, quiet, broken, like a voice behind cracked glass. Just a few syllables, not loud enough to make out, but definitely human. She paused her game, removed her headphones. No background noise in her room, nothing outside. Back in the game, silence. She chalked it up to imagination. Echoes in the audio kept going. 10 minutes later, the whisper returned. This time louder. This time it said, "Stop digging." She froze, checked subtitles. Nothing. No entry for player whispers or voice nearby. She checked for hidden files, resource packs, audio mods. The install was clean. She recorded a clip and played it back. Nothing. No whisper. but when she played again in real time, it returned. Now a full sentence. You're waking him up. Jules was a rational player. She debugged her own redstone. She wasn't scared easily. But this got under her skin. Still, curiosity pushed her forward. She kept exploring deeper into the cave until she came upon something strange. A perfect sphere of stone, not natural generation. Minecraft doesn't do spheres underground. It was sealed on all sides, no entrance. She mined into it. The inside was hollow. And in the center, a single note block. No redstone, no floor, just floating slightly off the ground, casting no shadow. Unplayable. Right-clicking did nothing. And the moment she stepped inside, the whisper became a scream. Not loud, but intense, like it was inside her skull. Layers of broken sentences overlapping, distorted like corrupted audio files being mashed together. He's awake now. Don't let the light touch. Was never a player. She placed a torch. It went out instantly. The light didn't fade. It blinked out, like the darkness ate it. Panicking, she ran. Back through the tunnel, dropping torches, none of which stayed lit. Eventually she reached the cave entrance. As soon as she stepped into sunlight, the whispers stopped. But from then on, every time she logged into any world, even peaceful ones, she'd occasionally hear that voice. No pattern, no warning, just a soft, broken whisper. Don't go back. The painting that watches. Paintings in Minecraft are harmless. Decorative, random, sometimes funny, they add life to a base. A splash of personality in a pixelated world. But there's one painting that shouldn't exist, and it doesn't appear in the creative inventory. This is what happened to a builder named Cade. He was designing a haunted mansion map for a server Halloween event. Cobwebs, secret doors, redstone traps, the usual spooky aesthetic. To give the room some character, he started placing paintings throughout. Flaming skulls, fighters, the familiar pixel art classics. But one of them was different. It appeared in a room he hadn't decorated yet, an attic space above the 3rd floor. A 1:2 portrait he didn't remember placing. It showed a narrow hallway stretching into darkness with a tiny red dot near the center, like an eye. He tried to remove it. Right click. Nothing. Punch. Nothing. Even breaking the wall behind it didn't work. The painting floated in place, unattached to any blocks. Cade thought it might be a corrupted texture or a resource pack issue, but when he checked his folders, no trace of it. No custom paintings loaded, no modded assets. He shrugged it off, took a screenshot, planned to ask for help later. That night, while testing the map in spectator mode, he passed through the attic room again. The painting was gone, but the hallway it showed now existed behind the wall where the painting had been. Stone bricks lined the passage, identical to the image. The red dot pulsed faintly in the distance. Despite the dread crawling up his spine, Cade flew down the corridor. After about 30 blocks, it opened into a room. Small, empty. Except for a painting. Same one. This time, it showed him, standing in front of the attic wall, looking confused, frozen in that moment from earlier. He backed away. The painting's version of him backed away too, delayed by about half a second. He switched to creative and tried to destroy the painting again. Still nothing. Then the game crashed. When he reopened the world, he spawned in the hallway room. Not in the mansion. The painting was still there. But now it showed a new image. Him asleep in his real-world room. His desk. His monitor. A nearly perfect recreation, down to the clock on his wall. He alt-tabbed in panic, checked his webcam. It was off. Unplugged. He unplugged his computer, waited an hour, booted into a clean, unrelated world, everything was fine. Until he opened a chest in a desert temple, and inside was a painting. No name, no image preview. When he placed it, it was the hallway again. Only this time the red dot was closer. The farm that never withers. Every seasoned Minecraft player knows crops follow the rules. Wheat takes time to grow. Carrots need replanting. Nothing happens on its own. You work the land and you harvest the results, except on one farm, the one that never dies. This story came from a player named Tamsin. She loved building peaceful countryside bases, barns, windmills, open skies. Her latest world had a cozy little setup beside a river, a red farmhouse, fenced fields, rows of crops as far as the eye could see. She hadn't logged in for a couple weeks. Life got busy. But when she returned, everything was exactly how she left it. Except the farm. All the crops, every single one, were fully grown. Even the ones she hadn't planted. She checked the chest by the field. Empty. She always kept a few stacks of seeds and tools there. Gone. When she looked back at the farmland, she noticed something strange. There were footprints. Dozens of them. Pressed into the tilled soil as if someone, or something, had walked across every row. She thought maybe a wandering trader or animal had glitched in. So she cleared the crops, replanted everything, and went on with her session. But the next time she logged in, just one day later, the crops were full again. Even the sugarcane was taller than usual. The pumpkins were arranged in perfect alternating rows. And again, footprints. But this time there were more. Leading up to her house, she checked for player activity. No one else had access to the world. No LAN, no realm, single player only. Then she saw it. In the distance, past the fence, just for a moment, a figure moving through the wheat. Not a villager, not a mob, just a man. Tattered clothes, wide-brimmed hat, moving slowly between the rows, dragging something behind him. She chased after him. He vanished. She looked down. More footprints. Fresh. But now there were new blocks too. Scarecrows. 4 of them placed at the corners of her field. She didn't place them. They weren't armor stands. They weren't anything from the base game. Just tall, dark silhouettes with pumpkin heads and bent arms. When night fell, the scarecrows turned to face her. She lit the entire area, thinking they were part of a mod glitch. But the next morning, the crops had changed again. Darkened. Black wheat, wilted carrots that shimmered strangely, and something new growing between the rows. Gravestones. Tiny mossy stones with no text, just stuck into the dirt where she swore she'd planted beetroot. She tried destroying them. Couldn't. When she broke one block near them, she heard a sound she'd never heard in Minecraft before, like a shovel. Slowly digging. That's when the whisper came, low, grainy, almost like static. The harvest never ends. She deleted the world, but weeks later, on a brand new survival save, her spawn point glitched. She landed beside a field, fully grown, with a single scarecrow already watching. The snow that fell underground. Snow is harmless in Minecraft, peaceful even. It falls in the right biomes, gathers on blocks, muffles footsteps. There's nothing dangerous about it, unless you find it where it doesn't belong. Kai was playing an amplified world. Mountains so high they pierced clouds, with valleys so deep they dropped into the shadowy depths below Y level 0. He loved the contrast. Open skies above, ancient cities below. One day, while digging through deep slate far below the surface, he started hearing something strange. A soft, rhythmic sound, like footsteps in powder snow. But he was in full netherite and far beneath any snowy biome. At first he assumed it was audio from a cave above him, maybe echoing through the stone. Then he broke into a new cavern, and the snow was there. Not powdered snow, normal snow blocks. perfectly layered across the cavern floor, not one, not two, dozens. Soft white sheets glowing faintly under clusters of glow lichen. He thought it might be a terrain bug, maybe an old generation mix-up. So he placed torches, collected a few snowballs, moved on. But as he turned to leave, the snow began to fall. Underground. No sky access. No light shafts. Just flakes drifting from the ceiling like it was winter inside the rock. He looked up. Nothing. Solid stone. No air gap. No opening. Just snow falling. Silently. He mined upward to investigate, expecting a surface glitch. Instead, he found a staircase made entirely of packed ice. It wasn't generated terrain, just a spiral staircase winding up through the solid stone. Perfectly cut, untouched, descending deeper than bedrock should have allowed. Something about it made his game stutter. Not lag, just hesitation, like each step down was harder to process. Eventually the snowflakes stopped falling. The walls turned to smooth quartz. The air grew darker. And at the bottom, a room, square, silent. In the center, a frozen figure, encased in blue ice. Not a statue, a player, wearing leather armor, arms at their sides, head tilted slightly, no name tag, no movement. Kai tried to mine the ice. It wouldn't break. He placed a torch next to it. Nothing. Then his screen dimmed. The snow returned, inside the room now, falling faster. His character began to slow, like slowness was being applied over and over. Then, the whisper. You shouldn't be warm. His hearts turned blue. Not frozen, just wrong. No texture pack. No potion effect. Just blue. He force quit the game. When he returned, the save file was labelled Cold Sleep, Demps World. He didn't name it that. And now, whenever he enters snow biomes, even in different worlds, he finds random blocks of ice far underground, always in the same spiral pattern, always leading to nothing. But sometimes, when the chunks load in late, he swears he sees something at the bottom of those staircases. Still frozen, still watching. The server with only one rule. Most Minecraft servers have rules. Be respectful, no griefing, no stealing, don't hack, easy stuff. But one server had only one rule. Never sleep. This story comes from a player named Rowan. He liked obscure servers, especially old ones, forgotten ones, half abandoned with strange builds and strange players. That's how we found the server. It didn't have a name, just an IP address passed around in niche forums. The post was simple. Old survival server. Vanilla, keep inventory on. Only one rule, never sleep. Rowan thought it was a joke. He joined, expecting chaos, but the world was oddly normal. A sprawling forest biome, thick with vines and mushrooms. Players were active, around 10 online. All of them friendly, but quiet, focused. Everyone built simple wooden homes. No elaborate redstone, no nether portals, just farming, fishing, watching the sky. He asked about the rule in chat. Rowan, so what happens if you sleep? No one responded. He let it go. That night, phantoms came. As expected, he stayed awake, fended them off, kept working on his base. But the second night, something strange happened. The sky didn't just darken, it deepened. The stars began to move, not in their normal arc, spiraling, slowly twisting like they were circling a drain. The phantoms didn't spawn this time. Instead, the music changed. Minecraft's normal ambient tones were replaced by something low, dissonant, almost like breathing. He asked in chat again. Rowan, anyone else hearing that? Still no answer. Then he saw a player nearby, username Sleeper. He hadn't seen that name in the player list. The The figure wasn't doing anything, just standing by the edge of the trees, watching, head tilted slightly. Rowan approached, but the player vanished. He opened the bed in his house just to test. He wasn't planning to sleep, just curious. Hovered over it. The screen flickered. You were warned. He clicked it anyway. The screen faded to black, then loaded back in. Only now the world was different. The colours muted, the trees twisted, the fog thick, almost tangible. His house was gone, replaced by ruins, and there was a new message in chat. Sleeper, they all broke the rule. Rowan ran through the forest, trying to find another player, but there were none. The tab list was empty. Even the spawn area was buried in vines and cobblestone. Signs littered the ground. Most were unreadable, but one stood out. Never sleep, never wake. Then came the sound, low, crawling footsteps behind him. He turned. The player was back. Sleeper. But this time it moved. It ran straight at him. No weapon, no animation. Just sprinted through trees, through stone, unstoppable. Rowan disconnected. When he tried to rejoin, the server was gone. The IP no longer worked. But now, in his single-player worlds, beds won't function. They all say, you've already slept. The disconnected world. When your internet cuts out during multiplayer, Minecraft gives you a simple message. Disconnected from server. It's not scary. It's routine. You hit reconnect and you're back in. But one player got disconnected and never came back to the same world. His name was Eli, and he was playing with two friends on a private realm. They were building a sky city. Huge floating platforms, connected bridges, glass towers stretching above the clouds. Every evening they'd hop on, make some progress, and log off with screenshots and laughter. But one night, Eli's screen froze. He was placing stone slabs along the edge of a bridge when the game suddenly lagged. Blocks stopped appearing. Mobs froze. Chat went silent. Then the message. Disconnected from server. He checked his connection. All good. The realm still showed as online, so he clicked reconnect. It worked, but the world was off. Everything was foggy. The sun was stuck mid-sky, unmoving. The build was still there, sort of. But parts of it were missing. Chunks of the glass towers were gone. The clouds were static, frozen like paintings. And worst of all, there were no other players online, even though his friends had just been there. He checked the player list. Empty. Chat, disabled. His hotbar still had his tools, but his name was different. Where it normally read Eli Builds, it now read Guest Zero Zerobin. That's when he noticed something floating in the distance. Not a player, not a mob. A boat. Hovering mid-air, slowly drifting through the sky like it was following an invisible river. Inside the boat sat an armor stand, posed in a sitting position. No armor, just a name tag above its head. Replica. Eli flew over using Elytra, but the boat kept gliding just out of reach, dipping into a fog bank. He followed it, desperate for answers, or at least signs of life. But the further he flew, the more distorted the world became. Floating islands began to break apart mid-air, leaves disconnected from their trees. The textures of blocks started warping. Iron blocks looked like warped planks. Stone flickered between mossy and cracked. He turned around. The city was gone. Nothing but empty sky. Then a message appeared in chat. He didn't type it. You are still here because they left. He typed back, what is this? No reply. The boat reappeared, this time beneath him, rising slowly until it was level with his feet. The armor stand was now holding something, a book. He opened it. Every server needs someone to stay behind. welcome to the disconnected space. Eli immediately exited the game, called his friends. None of them had ever seen him online that night. To them, he never reconnected. But to this day, if anyone opens the player list on that realm, there's a glitch, a blank entry, no name, just a ping of 0 Ms, always online. The door that wasn't placed. Doors in Minecraft are simple. You craft them, place them, walk through them. They creak open and shut, perfectly predictable. But sometimes, a door appears on its own. Rhea was a redstone engineer, one of those players who loved the logic side of Minecraft, clocks, traps, auto farms. Her base was a mechanical wonder tucked into the side of a savanna cliff. Clean builds, labelled chests, everything symmetrical, which is why it stood out immediately. The door, it was oak. Nothing fancy, but it wasn't there before. It stood in the middle of a hallway she had just finished. No redstone mechanism nearby, no blocks out of place, just a door, centered, closed. She checked her server logs. She played solo on a private server hosted on her own machine. No one else could have joined. Still, she assumed it was a misclick. Broke the door, tossed it in lava. The next day, it was back. Same hallway, same position, this time open. And behind it, just air. Not a cave, not a room. Just a 1 block wide black void stretching down like a mine shaft, but without stone, dirt, or any sign of generation. Curious, she threw a torch down. No light, no sound of it landing. The void simply absorbed it. She blocked it up with stone. But the next morning, not only was the door back, the hallway was longer. A full 10 blocks longer, leading to the same door. She checked her coordinates. They hadn't changed. It was as if the world had shifted without moving. That night, she stood at the doorway, staring into the black. Her curiosity overpowered her caution. She stepped through. Immediately, the world behind her disappeared. She was now in a hallway made of dark oak planks, unlit, with a damp echo to every footstep. Her inventory was gone. Health bar still full, but no hunger bar. She tried to exit, turned around. The door was gone. She walked forward. Eventually she came to a room. Square. Empty except for one thing in the center. A painting. It showed her base viewed from above, as if taken from spectator mode. But something was wrong with the image. Her base was on fire. She stared at the painting. It blinked, then flickered to another image, her, standing in front of the door, now. She backed up. The painting followed. Every time she moved, the image updated, like it was watching her in real time. Suddenly, the walls of the room began to narrow, not collapse, close in like shifting blocks. She sprinted, trying to find the hallway again. Found another door, this one made of iron. It didn't open. Then came the whisper, "We only open what's placed." She woke up in her base, standing motionless at the door again. But her player skin was different now. The eyes were closed. And every time she breaks the door now, it doesn't drop. It just waits. And the hallway gets longer. The backup that wasn't yours. Every cautious player makes backups. Before trying a risky redstone build, before updating a world, before venturing into the end, you back it up, just in case. But what if the game backed itself up, without you? This is what happened to a player named Jonah. He was working on a large-scale Nether Hub project in his hardcore world. Meticulous, structured, multiple backups across drives. He even labelled them by date. One night, he was tired but decided to log in for just a few minutes. Refine the gold farm, maybe rewire a few hoppers. The game loaded up normally. He appeared on his obsidian platform, lava all around, piglins squealing in the distance. Then he noticed something strange. His player was already standing on the platform, as if he was in third person. He opened the menu, checked settings, everything normal. But when he moved, his player didn't. The screen jerked, then snapped back to the usual first-person view. The other version of himself was gone. Just a visual bug, he told himself. Until he opened his backup folder later that night, looking for an old schematic file. There was a new folder. Restored 04119. That was today's date. He didn't make that folder. Inside it, a full backup of his world, but different. He loaded it out of curiosity. Spawned in the same place. Same armor, same inventory. But the world was off. The piglins didn't move, lava didn't bubble. Particles were frozen mid-air like a screenshot. He checked the overworld. His base was there, but every torch was unlit. Every item frame was empty. Maps were blank. He checked a chest. It opened. Empty. He turned around. There he was again, himself, standing silently behind him wearing the same armor. Only this time, the name tag above his head didn't say Jonah. It said, "You left me." The moment he stepped forward, the world glitched, hard. Chunks unloaded in geometric patterns. Trees flickered into corrupted nether textures. The sun froze mid-sky, then reversed direction. And the chat box opened without his input. You moved on, I stayed. He exited the world, deleted the folder, but when he opened his actual live backup, his original one, it had changed too. His spawn point was different. Every chest had the same message on a written book inside. You shouldn't have saved me. He checked the new folder's properties, created 6 minutes before he launched the game. The world backed itself up before he logged in. Now, every few days, a new restored folder appears. Each one slightly different. Each one closer to matching his current world perfectly, but always with one file inside labeled player data duplicate.dat. And if he opens that world, the other version of him is always there, waiting. The block that couldn't be broken. Some blocks in Minecraft are indestructible. Bedrock, barrier blocks, command blocks in survival. That's part of the game's logic. Everything else, you can mine it, except this one. It was just a stone block, right in the middle of an ordinary cave. Nothing special about it, but it wouldn't break. The story comes from a player named Dana. She was on a casual survival playthrough, cave diving near spawn, when she came across a strange 1x1 pillar of stone jutting up from the cave floor. Looked out of place, too smooth, too centered. She tried to mine it. Iron pickaxe? Nothing. Diamond pickaxe? Still nothing. The breaking animation would start, then freeze halfway through, like the block was resisting. She figured it might be a block from a protected structure. Maybe she accidentally stumbled into an old stronghold chunk. So she dug around it. No structure, no dungeon, no spawner, just the block. Perfectly alone. Then she placed a torch on it. The torch fell off. She tried water. It flowed around the block, not over it, like it was immune. So she saved and quit, planning to report the bug later. But when she loaded back in, the block was gone. And in its place, a chest. No lock. No trap. Inside, one item. A renamed stone block called Do Not Touch. She didn't place it in her inventory. She just hovered over it. And her screen glitched. Everything went black for a moment, just a flicker. Then her character spawned back at the surface. But her cave map was wiped. All the chunks she had explored underground were gone. Reset to stone. Even the torches she'd placed had disappeared. She returned to the spot. The block was back. And this time, it was larger. A 3x3 cube of stone, identical in texture but clearly not normal. She tried TNT. It exploded, visually, but the blocks remained. Then came the message in chat. You were warned. No sender, no commands enabled. She logged out again, this time backing up the world first. When she re-entered, the block had spread further. Now it was a tower, 7 blocks tall, humming faintly. The sound wasn't from any mob or item, just a low vibration, like distant redstone powering nothing. She tried deleting it with commands. Nothing. Kill at a type item, still nothing. Then she noticed something in her player data, a tag she'd never seen before. Interacted with root. True, she never installed anything that used a tag like that, and when she spawned a new world entirely, just to reset, the block was there, at spawn, just one. Just watching. She's deleted the game, reinstalled it, changed accounts, changed computers. The block always comes back, and every day she logs in, it's just slightly bigger. The world that loaded too fast. Minecraft worlds usually take a few seconds to load, long enough to see the generating terrain message, maybe hear some ambient menu music. But for one player, the world loaded instantly, and that was the first warning sign. The player's name was Micah. He'd been experimenting with random seeds, creating new survival worlds, then deleting them after a quick look. Just passing time. He wasn't using any mods. No data packs. Pure vanilla. He clicked Create New World. No delay, no loading bar, just darkness. At first he thought it was night, but there were no stars, no clouds, just pitch blackness and the sound of footsteps, his own echoing off invisible walls. His coordinates said X, 0, Y, 0, Z, 0, which didn't make sense. He tried placing a torch. It vanished from his hand, but gave off no light. He jumped, landed on something solid, but there were no blocks in his hotbar, no inventory sound, no UI at all. Like the game was still booting up, but he was already inside. Then came the first sound, a heartbeat, slow, distant, not in-game music, not a mod, just a heavy, steady thump that shook the invisible space around him. Then a message appeared in chat, not white like normal chat, but red. World seeded, he typed, hello, no response. Then another message. You are the seed. Micah opened F3, hoping for clues. Every stat read 0. RAM usage, memory, ticks per second. But under biome, it said null layer root germination. He closed the game, or tried to. His ESC key did nothing. The pause screen wouldn't open. He alt-tabbed, still stuck. Eventually he hard shut down his computer. The next time he launched Minecraft, the world selection screen was different. Every save slot now read, germination, started, no dates, no icons. Just that word. He clicked one. Loaded instantly again. But now there was terrain, twisted versions of normal Minecraft blocks, dirt with breathing animations, grass that pulsed like veins. The trees were black, with leaves that twitched in the wind, even though there was no weather. And on the horizon, he saw a structure, a giant, cracked egg. Pulsing slowly, he ran toward it, but the terrain shifted beneath him. Blocks moved, subtly reorienting themselves, always guiding him back to spawn. And at spawn, now, stood a single carved sign. You are the beginning. You must finish growing. Then his inventory opened by itself. One item inside. A renamed seed. Myself. When he hovered over it, the tooltip didn't show enchantments, just a single line of text. Planted once, still sprouting. He tried deleting the world folder, but it always comes back. Each time the name changes slightly. Cultivation, bloom, harvest incoming. And the heartbeat? It never stopped, not even when the games closed. The world without you. This story didn't come from a streamer, or a forum, or Reddit. It came from someone who doesn't remember creating the world at all. His name was Theo. He wasn't new to Minecraft, but he hadn't played in months. Life got in the way. Work, school, the usual. Then one night, while scrolling aimlessly through his desktop, he opened the launcher on a whim. There it was. A world. Theo's home. The name meant nothing to him. He checked the last modified date, 2 days ago. He hadn't touched Minecraft in months. Curious, he loaded it up. He spawned inside a house. Not a base, a house. Cozy, wooden, well lit. Everything was just right. Paintings on the walls, carpeted floors, a storage room labelled perfectly. Every detail matched his style, his taste. But he hadn't built it. There were no mobs, no music. The sun was stuck at high noon. He explored the house slowly, wondering if this was a leftover world from long ago. Then he opened a chest. Inside, journals, written books, all authored by Theo. Each one detailed the days he'd spent in the world. Farming, fishing, mining, even dreams he'd had. Specific ones. On the third book, the entry ended with, "I saw myself today." He went outside. The area around the house was uncanny, familiar but not generated, as if someone had handcrafted a terrain to feel perfectly natural, but it didn't quite follow Minecraft's usual logic. He found a map room, 5 item frames on the wall, filled with maps of the surrounding land. One map had a red marker labelled you, not player, not home. You. He broke the item frame. The map stayed floating in midair. He took it. When he opened it, the house was no longer there, just a black smudge where it had been. The ground around him began to darken. Slowly, like a spreading shadow, the grass turned grey, the trees lost their leaves. The house, behind him, had vanished. He typed in chat, "Tippy Theo." Nothing happened. Then, "You are already here." Another message followed. "You were never the player." His health bar vanished. Then his hand. Then his inventory. He could still move, but he was invisible. He pressed ESC. No menu. Paused the game with Alt plus F4. But the world didn't close. Just faded to black. Then it loaded again. Same world. Only now he was looking at the house from outside, through a window. And inside was himself. Theo, sitting at a desk, writing in a journal, living a quiet Minecraft life. Unaware. The screen flickered. New objective appeared at the top. Observe without interfering. He tried to move. Couldn't. Tried to speak. Nothing. He could only watch. And every time he logs in now, more time has passed in the house. The farm grows, the books fill, and Theo is still there, living a life that was never his. Because in that world, you are not the player, you are the ghost.